It wasn't pretty, and he wasn't proud.
I am signing an imperfect omnibus bill because it's necessary for the ongoing functions of government.
Hold your nose, hold your tongue, but pass the earmarks on Political Man.
Maybe the president was just being practical. This is Political Man. I'm Jonathan Mann, and this week, Congress forced him to compromise.
It's not the White House that keeps the U.S. government running. Congress has to approve the spending. This week, it did that and a whole lot more with a funding bill that included nearly 9,000 pet projects called earmarks. Total cost, $410 billion.
The bill will go to the president's desk. He'll sign it. And the signal to the American people is, you voted for change, but you're not getting any change today.
The bill is an overdue agreement on ongoing expenses to keep the government running. In a sense, Obama inherited it and all of those earmarks. Obama says he opposes them, and he could have fought the bill, but he decided to just get it filed away and move on.
We can't have Congress bogged down at this critical juncture in our economic recovery.
He broke with his habit and signed the bill in private and drew public attention elsewhere. Restoring federal funding for embryonic stem cell research, launching a bid for education reform, and working with state governments on the billions of stimulus dollars coming their way.
We're going to have to make sure that every single dollar is well spent.
Little hint, no swimming pools in this money.
Well, if you can't use the money for a swimming pool, how about a cool, refreshing pay raise? Congress has actually been slated for one, but that came up too this week.
Everything is going to hell in a handbasket, and yet members of Congress get an automatic pay raise virtually every year, and people find that really, really offensive.
In the middle of the debate over that spending bill we've been telling you about, Republican Senator David Vitter boldly proposed freezing congressional salaries. A popular proposal with the public, but also a good way to play the Democrats. After the House passed its version of the spending bill, the Senate was forced to either approve it as is or kill it altogether. So Vitter introduced an amendment to end automatic pay raises, essentially challenging lawmakers to either accept a raise in the midst of a recession or doom the entire bill to defeat. Democratic lawmakers did navigate a procedural path around the unattractive choice, but Vitter also ultimately succeeded in getting salaries frozen, even if it means he'll be getting the cold shoulder from his colleagues. In the political pulse this week, some comforting numbers for America's much-maligned lawmakers. A new Gallup poll suggests they're rising a bit in the public's esteem. Only 37% of Americans approved of congressional Democrats in December, just before Obama took office. That rose to 47% late last month. The Republicans aren't doing quite as well. They had just a 25% approval rating in George Bush's last month on the job. Now they're up to 36%. Bottom line, Americans don't like Congress as much as they like their president, but they have stopped loathing the lawmakers, at least a little.
And yet, Congress still hasn't found a way to completely cut the crud.
The carbon. 2 years ago, Speaker Pelosi pledged to make the House of Representatives the first legislature in the world to go carbon neutral. The effort involved wind power electricity, better light bulbs, and just turning things off. The House also spent nearly $90,000 on offsets, investing in outside projects that cut carbon that the lawmakers couldn't. There was apparently a dramatic cut in carbon emissions, but no real way to tell exactly how dramatic. So the goal of zero carbon emissions has now been abandoned. And they aren't giving up the hot air either. In office politics, is Timothy Geithner looking a little tired? Geithner is Treasury Secretary, the guy who's supposed to clean up the U.S. financial disaster that's spread around the world. But he needs help. And though several high-level aides are already at their jobs early while waiting to be hired, most of the positions under him are still officially vacant, especially the most senior ones. Part of the problem, Geithner's now well-known tax troubles. As a result, the White House is taking every precaution before actually putting anyone more on the Treasury payroll. This week, it did name 3 new nominees, but dozens of jobs are still open. In family politics, First Lady Michelle Obama has always been clear about her #1 job, putting family first.
I come here as a mom whose girls are the heart of my heart and the center of my world.
But mom-in-chief aside, First Ladies have their causes, and Mrs. Obama has found one, looking out for U.S. military families and providing them with assistance at home.
All right. The sun did not shine. It was too wet to play.
After reading Cat in the Hat to children of soldiers stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Mrs. Obama made this call.
Our soldiers and their families have done their duty. They do it without complaint. And we, as a grateful nation, must do ours and do everything in our power to honor them by supporting them.
The president of Brazil is in Washington this weekend for a meeting with President Obama. Both sides have important things they want, but lately, the Obama administration isn't giving much away.
Just ask Gordon Brown. As a visitor to the White House last week, he gave Mr. Obama a piece of history, a pen holder made from the timbers of a British ship that fought the slave trade. In return, Obama gave him some history too, some old movies on DVD. Brown didn't complain, but the British press was aghast. Hillary Clinton had a better idea. Hoping to start a new era in U.S.-Russian relations, the Secretary of State gave Russia's Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, a big reset button. Trouble is, it didn't say reset in Russian. It was mistranslated and labeled overcharged instead.
You get it wrong.
I got it wrong.
Maybe some people just don't have a gift for diplomacy.
Now, obviously, Barack Obama is the biggest name in Washington right now, but lately, he's had some competition for the spotlight.
For celebrity activists in left-leaning Hollywood, the time, you might say, is right to visit the nation's capital. George Clooney recently dropped by the White House to discuss Darfur.
So I just met with the president and the vice president.
Brad Pitt showed up on Capitol Hill last week to promote rebuilding efforts in hurricane-damaged New Orleans.
Thank you to the Speaker for opening up the doors for us to come in and discuss the rebuilding effort.
And this week, Richard Gere came to Washington to talk about Tibet. Singer Paul Simon turned up to discuss children's health care. And who'll be next? After 8 years of a Republican administration, celebrity activists are basking in the attention they're getting from Democratic lawmakers. And some lawmakers don't mind the attention either.
It really is an honor to have him here, and I know for some of my staff and for bragging rights to my children and my grandchildren, a real treat for me as well.
In the quick fix this week, they faded from the public eye and each other's affections. It turns out that 18-year-old Bristol Palin and 19-year-old Levi Johnson are not going to get married after all. Palin became the most famous unwed mother in America after her own mother, Sarah, was chosen as John McCain's running mate. Her son Tripp was born 2.5 months ago, but the summer wedding that was in the works is now officially off. Forget Nicholas and Alexandra, the U.S. has its own czars. Under Barack Obama, the special high-level White House deputies are multiplying like Russian rabbits. There's a healthcare czar, a drug czar, an energy czar, an urban affairs czar, and an economics czar. There's also an information technology czar, or there was. After only days on the job, Vivek Kundra went on leave as the FBI conducted a corruption probe in his old office and made a pair of arrests. We'll keep you posted. And just how big an Obama fan is Oprah Winfrey? Big enough for her to share her space. For 9 years, the cover of Oprah's O magazine has featured Oprah, Oprah, and nothing but Oprah. But move over Oprah, the latest issue features Oprah and Michelle. Mrs. Obama has also graced the covers of People, Vogue, Ebony, among others. Not bad for someone who doesn't have her own magazine.